KMSU.
Hi, is Dustin there?
This is Dustin.
Dustin, it's Greg from Deerhoof calling you.
Greg, how you doing?
I'm good.
Excellent.
I'm hungry?
You have some time today for a couple questions?
Yeah, sure. Is now a good time for you?
It's the best time.
Okay, well then let's do it now.
First of all, I'm here with my co-host, Ton.
Hey, Greg, how you doing?
I'm good.
Awesome.
How are you guys doing?
Wish I had a sandwich for you, but I'm out of luck, man.
You wish you had a ham on rye?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll get started if you're cool with it, and just asking how you kind of got. How did you get started playing music?
Oh. That might be going back beyond the threshold of my memory banks. I assume that I got started the same way everybody gets started, things like, you sing, when you're a kid. Somebody teaches you a song. Probably before that, maybe you heard some lullabies, that maybe a mother or father might have sung to you, trying to get you to be quiet. Before that, I don't know, maybe like kicking in the womb. I mean, it's like, because I play drums in Deerhoof, so kicking is a big part of what I'm doing.
Sure.
So I think I started practicing that while in the womb. The womb also, I think I definitely developed my taste for noise music in the womb, because isn't that true when a human being's in a uterus? That's what it sounds like. It sounds like that kind of sound, and I think that's where the sound came from. When you try to get somebody to be quiet, you tell a baby to shh, and I think that it's an imitation of the sound of the womb. Just like swaddling clothes is an imitation of being encapsulated in the womb. It's
That's deep.
The sound of noise and the feeling of being very tightly embraced or held, or like in a bondage or whatever, is often but both of them have a negative association, in our culture. But actually, I think both are an imitation of what it feels like in the womb, and it's actually can be quite comforting. And I don't know, going back before the womb, I don't know. You guys are asking me a tough question here. Let's see. I don't know. Then you're getting back into like what do you call it? Like memories of DNA and stuff, like genetic memory and that kind of thing.
Man. Well,
yeah, that's heavy duty.
Well, how about this? How did we get from the womb over to Deerhoof? How did we make that progression?
I did. My aunt taught piano, so I think she gave me piano lessons, which I continued for a long time, and I really loved playing the piano. I still do. It's rare that I'm actually in front of a piano. Like last time I think I was in front of a piano was we were supposed to play this outdoor festival at a college, maybe in like April or something like that, and suddenly they have this tremendous rainstorm. The one thing you can't have if you want to have an outdoor festival at a college campus. And so suddenly they're like, I know, we'll move the whole thing indoors. And so they moved it into this, I wouldn't even know how to describe this. Like, if it weren't on a college campus, I would describe it as kind of like a bingo parlor or something. It was like this sort of like completely empty rec room, with fluorescent lighting. And they built a stage out of like the kind of tables that you would usually like sell cupcakes on at like a bake sale or something. But there just so happened to be the magic combination of a Deerhoof album in progress, a laptop that contained GarageBand and a built-in microphone, a sudden extra hour of time with nothing to do while they rebuilt the PA system on the cupcake tables inside this rec room, and then a piano sitting over in the corner. So then that's when I recorded all the piano overdubs on the record, and it was really fun. I mean, because it's like pianos are big and expensive, and it's rare that you find yourself, sitting at one. So when I did, I was like really excited and got inspired. But see, you were asking about before Deerhoof. Let's see, I joined the school band, 3rd grade, snare drum. We played a lot of marches in elementary school. I had a thing in. You guys ever play the school band when you were in 3rd grade?
Yeah.
I did actually, yeah.
You did? Both of you did? I'm
Yep.
impressed. I don't suppose you played snare drum like I did. What roles did you play in the band?
I played clarinet.
And I had a trumpet.
Yeah, no, you were fine.
Yeah.
See, when you play clarinet and it's the end of the year concert where you're in 3rd grade and you're playing in front of all your 3rd grade friends, trying to impress them with the fact that you've learned to play. And on the program for the day is nothing but a list of marches. On the clarinet, you could actually tell the different marches apart from each other. So if you put, march number 1 up on your music stand and you start playing it, your part is actually different from march number 2 up on the music stand. But I had this horrible realization behind the snare drum where the conductor, the band director, says, okay, everybody, it's time to start, march number 1, But I accidentally had march number 2 up on the stand. But I didn't realize it until we were about halfway through the march. And the thing was, at that point, I realized it had made absolutely no difference because the snare drum part on every one of these marches was identical, and it looked complicated on the page. There were all these repeats and, okay, go back to the beginning, and then this part happens 3 times and whatever. But all it was just offbeat, that's all it was for the whole concert. So, yeah, I don't know. At that point, it was like a shattering. I don't know how much detail you guys really want. I thought this was supposed to be a 10-minute interview. You're asking me about my elementary school band and everything. I mean, come on now.
Well, you could offer the abridged versions if you want. You don't have to. It's up to you.
You guys need to narrow down these questions.
Okay. Well, when it comes to recording the Deerhoof albums, what's that process like? Do you just look for parades and outdoor festivals on rainy days all the time, or how does that work?
We imitate them in tiny apartments, It's all simulated. Any fun that it sounds like it, might be coming out of the speakers is all simulated. We didn't actually have any fun while doing it. It's like no, I don't know. We do it all ourselves. I mean, since John joined the band, he was the first person who had in the band to have a personal computer, or at least one that had a way to record. And so at that point, we started recording on computer. Before that, it was a 4-track, cassette machine. And, it's like when you first start out, it's like nobody's heard of your band. No one likes your band. No one is giving you budget, So you just wing it with whatever you have. But I don't know why, we never graduated to the point where you get a producer and get them to do all the work for you. We just loved the process of recording so much and felt that there was no separation between writing your music and playing your music and recording it and mixing it, that we never really wanted to give up on it, actually. And so even now, even after, it's been something like 18 years maybe doing the band. I don't know. Do you guys have it figured out?
Yeah, it's been at least 15
like
years.
18 years. Even at this point, it's still, the trade-off. It's like you could be a band, you go into a recording studio, you say, okay, guys, this is a really nice recording studio, and we got a producer for the session. It's going to be awesome. We've got 3 days, because that's what we can afford, or that's what the label can afford, or, based on how many records we can sell, that's what won't plunge us into bankruptcy, And so we'd rather record with crappy equipment or whatever we can borrow from friends to together, that kind of thing, take a few months to work on it. Because, you never know. Something sounds good one day, and you're totally sick of it a week later, and it's like you can't go back. If you did it all with the experts and with all the in a fancy studio, it's like you're kind of stuck. You had to basically trust the authorities to make the big decisions for you.
Yeah.
And it's like, we much prefer doing it ourselves, and it's actually been cool because you never stop learning how to do it. You never actually become an expert. It's like when you do it yourself, you realize that any pretense of somebody who says they know what they're doing, is phony, and everybody's struggling, and it all depends on a kind of creative spark that you can't predict. And there's no such thing as a cookie cutter way of recording a record. There's no real rules. People might want to claim that there are, but that's just a way to get out of that step, that extra step of recording, which is having an idea, using some creativity. And it's sort of like every time we record a song, we got to use a different method to record it,
Yeah.
Whatever way worked on song X, didn't work on song Y, and every time we tried to do that, it would always fail, and we'd always end up having to come up with a different system. And so, I don't know, it feels like you're always exploring, you're always discovering. I think being in a rock band is really, I feel extremely lucky because it's one of the great ways that forces you to, you can't do it unless you are you're just forced into being, having to be creative and solve problems, every day. And you're kind of forced, you're expected to be kind of wild too, you know what I mean? So it's a way to be wild, in a society that doesn't encourage that of people, but it's expected, that you be wild and creative if you're in a band. And it's expected that you surprise people, and that you have a ton of energy on stage, So basically, when if you're in a rock band and you go to the office, the office is the stage, and it's like you never have that feeling of like it starts to slow down, it gets boring, and after a while, it's like, well, I kind of know my life has kind of turned into this, and it's kind of gotten routine. No, it never gets routine. You never know what's going to happen. You never know when you're just going to randomly call up some guy, called Dusty. He's going to start asking you weird questions about, like, pregnancy and stuff.
Yeah. Crazy, man.
So, who have you had any, like, major influences for drumming or anything? Like, what got you into it hardcore?
He gave it to you.
The Womb, okay.
The Womb, okay.
Gotcha.
The Womb, man. Third grade, I played marches in the school band.
All right.
That's a solid foundation.
You guys got one more question. You better make it good. After this, I got to go eat my lunch. My whole band's waiting for me. I'm sure the wait staff is just standing there at the table like, well, when's that other guy showing up? And we're like, well, I don't know. He could kind of got asked some really crazy questions on this radio show. You guys make it good.
All right. Well, you got the new album, Breakup Song, out, and you're playing in Minneapolis Sunday night.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, you've played in Minneapolis before, obviously, but
many times. Both John and Ed, who play guitar in my band, they met in Minneapolis. They used to live there for years. And, we always love going back to Minneapolis. Probably the most memorable show that we've ever had. We were booked we were booked 7th Avenue, for 7th Street entry, the same night that 1st Avenue had Patti Smith, and then right across the street at the whatever you call, whatever corporate, thingamabob they got there, the real big one.
Target
it was
Center.
A triple bill. Ted Nugent, Skid Row, and Kiss. and then up on the Message Master, we see show canceled. Kiss is playing Grounded in Chicago. And so the entire downtown was just overrun, with like people in Ace Frehley face paint, stuff like that, having no idea what to do. They'd obviously driven miles to get there and stuff. And so a bunch ended up at our show. you know. And so, you know, we had the show, you know, in this tiny room in the 7th Street was just jammed with all these Kiss bands, and I was really proud because we won them over, you know, because that's kind of what we're all about, you know, rock and roll.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Greg.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.